Scavengers, a short play by Saorla Roger. Solicitor's office. Hallway. 3 siblings, Erica, John and Brian, dressed in black suits and ties, are sitting on chairs in the hallway outside a solicitor's office. To the right of them, a woman sits at a desk. Brian flicks through a magazine, while John looks around aimlessly. After fidgeting for a while, Erica gets up and approaches June, sitting at the desk.
Excuse me. Hi. Do you think it'll be much longer? It's just, we've been waiting.
Oh yeah, it has only been a few minutes.
Yeah, and you said that's how long it would take. A few minutes.
Yes, but I meant more like 15 minutes, not 3.
Oh, okay. It's just, people generally use the word few to mean quantities of less than 5. 15 minutes is a lot more than a few. If I told you I had a few cats and you came over to my house and there were 15 cats running around, you wouldn't be very happy, would you?
Right, well if it'll be 15 minutes then, Miss Mills.
Erica, please. What's your name?
June.
Oh, nice one. Have you a brother called July?
I have a brother called Nathan.
Right. Can we go in now?
It's been 1 minute since you last asked.
I know, June, I know.
You could have made an appointment, and that's how most people do things.
Oh, brilliant. I'll just go back in time and make an appointment, June.
You wouldn't have had to wait if you had made one.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have got to talk with you, June, and we wouldn't have gotten to bond like this. Do you get many people this time of year?
I've only been here a week, I'm afraid.
Well, that explains it.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'm going to ask you if we can go in again. And before you say no, I should tell you that my dad is dead.
Well, so was mine, and he died when I was 5.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's probably easier for kids, isn't it? They don't really understand death anyway.
Well, I got a pretty good understanding of it when I saw him being lowered in the ground.
Yeah, that's... Do you think he's ready?
No, but I want you to leave, so I'm going to send you in.
Ah, thanks, June. You're a star.
Yeah, in you go.
I'm sorry about it.
Oh, just go in.
The middle siblings get up and begin moving to the imaginary door in the middle of the stage, leading to the office. John and Brian mime both of them trying to go through the door at the same time and getting stuck. Then they try again. Then John steps back and allows Brian to go through. He then attempts to go through himself, but the same thing happens when Erica then tries to go through the door at the same time. He gives Erica a look and goes through the door. Erica follows. They all go into the office and start to seat themselves in front of the solicitor's desk.
Oh, sorry, do you mind closing that door?
Erica goes back to close the door and Mike's trying to close the door a number of times.
It's not working.
Sorry?
The door, it won't close.
Oh, it will. Just give it a good hard tug.
Erica repeatedly attempts to close the imaginary door until suddenly the handle comes off. Erica looks around but nobody is paying attention to her, so she puts the handle in her jacket pocket.
I'm afraid I only have 2 chairs. I wasn't expecting you.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Chris. I'll go on the couch.
It's a chaise, actually, from Tibet.
Oh, is that like Harvey Norman?
I'm sorry you had to wait. I didn't know you were coming, you see, because most people make appointments.
We tweeted you. You didn't reply.
Yes. Well, most of the appointments are made through my secretary, June, not Twitter.
Oh, June. Yeah, I spoke to her outside. She's very modest with her estimations of how long things will take.
I suppose she is. Anyways, what can I do for you?
Brian takes out a piece of paper and puts it on the desk.
We've come to cash our father's will.
Don't be silly, Brian. You can't cash a will. He means we want to collect on the will.
I beg your pardon?
Well, there'll be really no need for that. You can just ask.
Mr. Chris picks up the piece of paper Brian put on the table and looks at it.
This is a Vodafone bill.
Yes, that piece of paper has nothing to do with it. I just did that for effect.
You're here to contest the will?
Oh, no. We're here to get the will. You have it. Our father wrote a note before he died explaining that he left his will with you.
And what was his name?
Terry.
The last name?
Oh, Mills.
Oh, that's right, I did have a Mr. Mills in here just a few weeks ago, and he's died. I'm terribly sorry.
It's all right. Worse things happen at sea.
Yes, but the death of one's father is a profound and significant moment in a man's life.
Do you think it's in there?
What?
Do you think it's in that filing cabinet, the will?
Oh, well, yes, I suppose I filed it away like the others.
Excellent. Well, go on then.
Oh, I see, yes.
Mr. Chris gets up and walks over to the filing cabinet at the back corner of his office. He begins rifling through the papers inside.
I'm afraid I can only discuss the contents of a will with the executor.
And who's that?
Mr. Chris opens the file as he walks back to the desk. He sits.
Here we are. Mr. John Mills.
Yes?
Erica walks over and the three siblings lean in to examine the document.
That's you, is it? You were aware that your father gave you this position, weren't you?
No, I was not.
May I ask, when was it that your father died?
Tuesday.
What, last Tuesday?
No, this Tuesday. We've just come from the funeral.
I'm sorry. You've come straight from your father's funeral.
Well, we would have come before, but you only open at 12.
Yes. Well, I was wondering why you were all dressed like that.
The reason we're here is to find out the details of that will. You see, there's been some conflicts in recent times over whom is entitled to what.
It's who, actually.
What?
It's who is entitled to what.
Oh, yes, that's what we're trying to find out.
Well, unfortunately, disputes over these types of things are rather common with big families. John, as executor of your father's will...
Executor? No, Mr. Chris. I'm an executive in a company. I manage a small team of lendy squirrels.
Team of what?
He's talking about loan sharks.
Yes, but we've found that over the years the phrase loan sharks tends to invoke a rather negative image with potential customers. We consulted with a publicist and she informed us that people generally find sharks to be quite intimidating animals. So we decided to rebrand as Lendy Squirrels, as her research shows us that most people find squirrels to be non-threatening.
Still scamming desperate people, though, isn't it?
Actually, Mr. Chris, in our office, scam is one of the no-say words. You'll learn that once you join the company.
I don't want to join the company.
Well, then why are you asking about it?
I wasn't.
Well, you can't be earning much here. You can't even afford good chairs. I mean, look at the state of...
Stop that. I'm perfectly happy with my salary. Now, I'm afraid I will need to see some ID before I disclose the details.
John takes his wallet out of his pocket and displays it to Mr. Chris.
Well, that seems to be in order, thank you.
Oh, no bother. I get asked for ID all the time, you see. People always think I'm younger.
Because you've got such a high voice.
Because I've got such a young face.
Do you know many young people with frown lines?
Yeah, well, face lines make you look distinguished. I would never get fillers.
Because you can't afford it.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll see after today. What if the will says John gets all the money? Then you'll be begging me for fillers, and I'll just laugh. Well, I won't laugh, because you can't really move your face after you've had it done, so I'll just make a noise.
While we're on the subject of money, I do seem to remember that your father had quite a large sum of money before he died. And what was it that he did again?
He was a producer on the West End.
Really? How extraordinary.
Yes, the West End is the name of a pornography production company he started in Galway. You might have heard of it.
No, I'm afraid not. Do you mind if we get back to the matter at hand?
Oh yes, Matter of Hand was another porn company that he was involved in.
Mr. Chris, I'm afraid you must forgive my siblings. They are exhaustingly immature. In fact, I've long suspected that Erica is in fact 3 young children standing on top of each other. It's probably best if the 2 of us arrange another appointment, just between you and me, where we can work out the details.
Stop trying to shaft us. He always does this, you know. Even when we were children, he's always been a sucker. Oh, Daddy, is there anything else you want me to do? Does your hair need plaiting, Daddy? Do your toenails need trimming?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I never trimmed his toenails. Daddy liked them a very particular length, and I could never manage it.
Look, I'm the one who should be in charge of the money. He trusted me. I used to work with him at the West End.
Only because you were too thick to get a proper job.
I work for the council.
Painting a public bench is not working for the council. And he got fired, you know, for painting it wrong. It was meant to be pink for breast cancer awareness. What did you paint?
I painted an exquisite portrait of a very tasteful nude woman who, might I add, had very large breasts. So you can't say it didn't go with the theme.
It really doesn't matter who you think is entitled to the money. Your father specified it in his will.
Well, what does it say? Read it then if you're so clever. I suppose you can read.
Yes, I can read. I'm a lawyer. The last will and testament of Terry Mills.
Thought you said you could read.
I mean Mills. The last will and testament of Terry Mills. I, Terry Mills, being of sound mind, do hereby dictate the contents of my last will and testament. Friends, family, if you are reading this, it would seem that I am dead. I'm very sorry. You must be having an awful time of it, and I can't blame you. I was amazing. You're probably so distraught, it would take you months to recover, and for that I apologize. This goes on for a few pages. If you want to...
Skip it. Typical Dad. Even when he's dead, he won't shut up.
The entire section is just the lyrics of What's Up by the Four Non-Blogs.
He did love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He used to play it all the time at work. He and I used to work together, you see. Every day. We would just sit and talk, sharing memories and secrets.
I know what you're doing and it's not going to work. We're not giving you the money.
What?
We couldn't even if we wanted to. You heard this man. Whatever's in that will is what goes.
Well, it shouldn't be allowed. He was batshit crazy when he wrote that will.
Are you suggesting that when your father wrote this will, his mental health had deteriorated?
Oh, no, sir. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was a loony. But he had always been a loony. It would have been more concerning if he wasn't acting crazy.
I see. Well, if you're sure, we come to assets. And now, the thing you've all been waiting for. The divulgence of who benefits from my estate. Despite my initial instincts to be buried with my money and stop you all from getting your greasy hands on it, I have decided that my last act before my death shall be a charitable one. And so, to my youngest son, Brian, I leave my collection of antique typewriters.
Is that it?
Yeah. It appears so. To Erica, I leave nothing.
What?
To John, my eldest son, my favourite child, I leave you with the fond memories of our time together, and also the used tissues in my bottom drawer from the time I had strep throat.
What? Well, this can't be. Dad had tons of money.
Well, actually, he may not have had as much as you thought. When I spoke to your father a number of weeks ago, he informed me that a large amount of his money was due to be paid out to a number of sexual harassment cases.
What?
Yes, apparently it was all rather hushed up at the time, but he was set to pay over €1 million to several women.
€1 million?
Yes.
€1 million?
Indeed.
Well, he sexually harassed me.
What?
No, he didn't.
Oh, yes, he did. You weren't there. Where's my €1 million? I'll sue him right now.
The man is dead.
Oh, I'll sue his family.
You were his family.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chris, what can we do here?
It's not finished. When I asked your father who would be the main beneficiary of his estate, he decided to go with an unconventional option.
And who gets the money?
The person who cried hardest at his funeral.
What? That's insane.
Do you have any idea?
Well, I'm a grown man, and I can admit at one point that I did get a bit sniffy.
You did not.
I did too. There were tears coming down my face.
That's because you were laughing. He always loses it when the priest says, let us pray. He leans into me and he says, why do we never say cabbage prayer?
Shut up.
I'm afraid there's more. And I must preface this by saying that I strongly advise your father against adding this to his will. In fact, I tried everything I could to stop him. But as it turns out, for some reason, it's not strictly illegal, so...
What? What is it?
In the event that no one cries at my funeral, the succession of assets will be decided by a fight to the death.
A what?
I'm afraid so. I tried to tell him that it was crazy.
But what happens if we refuse to this fight?
Well, in the very likely event that you should refuse to take part in the death battle, your father decided that his fortune would go to the World Lizard Foundation.
The what?
The World Lizard Foundation. It's an organization focused on preserving the existence of lizards.
Are lizards even endangered?
Ah, no, they're doing quite well. Thriving, actually. Your father made a specific note of that for some reason.
Well, we can't do it. A fight to the death is ridiculous.
No, obviously. You can't fight to the death.
Obviously.
Hold on now.
What?
We can't give up that easily.
I'm not risking my life for petty cash, Brian. The lizards can have it.
But
Sorry, Mr. Chris, but there's a man here and he wants to speak with you.
Well, I'm in a meeting. Is it important?
It seems very urgent.
Okay. Well,
Before he can finish, a man pokes his head around the door. It is Mr. Mills in heavy disguise, although the Mills children do not know this yet.
Hello, I'm so sorry. Do you mind if I come in for a minute?
well, this is a private meeting. What's your name?
My name is Dick Moody. I'm here because 2 months ago I was run over by a bus, which is, as you can imagine, is a lot more painful than a car because, well, you know, because
They're longer.
Yes.
Mr. Moody?
Hold on. You haven't let me finish now. After the whole bus thing is finished running over me, another bus comes along.
And that one ran you over as well?
No, that one went around me.
So, you want to sue the bus company? Look, I'm sorry, but we're in the middle of a meeting. What exactly do you want?
What do I want? That's an interesting question now, isn't it? Now, let me tell you what I want. What I want to do is...
As he is saying this, he turns to the back and begins attempting to remove his fake moustache with difficulty.
Shit! Hold on.
The Mills children and Mr. Chris look on in bemusement as Mr. Mills struggles.
Stupid moustache.
He turns back around to face them.
What I want is
He pulls off the wig he has been wearing.
vengeance.
Dad?
Yeah, it's me. Father.
John runs to his father, arms outstretched, but Mr. Mills pushes him away, so John settles for patting him on the shoulder.
Get off.
Dad, how can you be alive? What happened? We saw you getting buried.
No, you didn't.
What?
No, you didn't.
But we were at the funeral.
How long did you stay?
Well, they weren't gonna...
They weren't doing any sandwiches afterwards, so we thought we should probably just
Leave?
Leave, yeah.
Well, which I knew you would. So all I had to do was to get out of the coffin after you three had snuck out the back of the church, and I'd be on my way. Great job, by the way, at the ceremony. I heard you saying namaste to the priest.
I don't believe this. There's no way you could have survived in that coffin with no air.
Of course there is. I had a straw which I poked out through the crack in the lid.
What about everyone else, though? How did you get out without anyone seeing you?
I didn't have to. They were all actors. I hired them all from the West End.
The actual West Ender.
No, the poem one.
That's why I recognised them.
What about the priest?
Oh, him. He's my best performer. Let me tell you, it's not the first time he's worn that priest outfit either.
So, you staged your own death? Oh God, what am I saying? Of course you did. I should have known it. What 70-year-old man dies in a skateboarding accident?
I still can't believe you bought that. I made it too easy.
I'm sorry. Can we actually ask the real questions here? What was the point of any of this? What were you doing? Trying to teach us a lesson? Trying to show us how much you really mean to us? That as much as we fight and bicker and insult, Deep down, we really need each other because the only thing in the world you can really depend on is family.
Of course not. Prior to my death, I was involved in several lawsuits involving multiple women with whom I had perfectly consensual gropings. These cases threatened my fortune. I couldn't allow that. I knew the only way out was to disappear. Not only would dying take away my legal issues, but would also make room in my life for a healthy life insurance policy.
But you can't take out life insurance on yourself.
Quite right. In the will, I detailed the distribution of my assets. Knowing none of you will cry at my funeral, nor would you fight to the death, I state at the back on the very last page that you should be my next of kin and they would fail the assigned tests. The recipient of my fortune, as well as the beneficiary of my life insurance payout, should go to one person and one person only.
As he says this, Mr. Chris begins flipping to the back of the will. The Mills children gather around the desk, jostling each other.
What does it say? What does it say?
Well, I can't bloody read it if you keep pushing me.
Who does it say? Assets? The recipient of the total sum of cash and properties will fall to me.
June has been standing in the corner ever since Mr. Mills entered the room. She now moves to the front of the stage, adopting a more confident stance. There is a brief, shocked silence.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
She's the secretary, June.
No, I'm not the secretary. I work for Mr. Mills.
And you're the best employee I ever had, honey. Come here.
June? You're Eleanor Morrison?
What?
On the last page of his will, your father said that if you failed the tests, everything would go to a woman named Eleanor Morrison.
Oh yes, I suppose my name is Eleanor Morrison, legally.
I'm sorry, I still have no idea who she is.
Oh, well, maybe this will help.
She removes her wig.
I mean, I didn't know what you looked like without the wig, so no.
I worked for your father at the West End. When the allegations started coming up, I suggested this plan. Initially, it was just a way to make money, but as much as I tried to resist it, I fell in love with your father.
Disgusting. Continue.
June has been the light of my life these past few months. She's made all my problems go away. And she did it all while being the most gorgeous woman in the room.
Thanks. June, why did you start working for Mr. Chris if you knew you would be coming into all this money?
Well, by the time we made our plan, John was already the executor of the will. And it would have looked suspicious to change it so soon after Terry died. The will can only be read in front of the executor, so we knew we had to get John here. Speaking of, I'll take that.
She plucks the will out of Mr. Chris's hands.
This is beyond illegal. Do you know how many laws you've broken?
Doesn't matter. In a few hours, we'll be on a Caribbean cruise. International waters, baby. You can't touch me there.
I don't believe this. All to avoid some lawsuits.
That kind of stuff can tarnish a man's reputation.
So you'd rather have people thinking you're dead?
Dead men are literally the most respected group of people on the earth.
You're insane.
Is he? Or is he a genius?
Well, I'm leaning towards the latter, kids, you know. I'm ready for a new chapter of my life. A clean slate, a fresh start, and I get to do it all as Dick
Moody.
Moody.
Terry, babe, we're going to miss the boat. We need to go.
Oh yeah, you're right. See you soon, kids.
They begin to leave. Mr. Mills reattaches his fake moustache with limited success.
So that's it. You're just going to leave.
Actually, babe, I just need to get my bag. I left it at my desk.
Okay, honey. Love you.
I love you.
Mr. Mills leaves.
June, when I interviewed you, you said you were supporting your sick mother. That was the reason I hired you. And you've been lying to me. To go live with a disgusting old man in the Caribbean.
Oh, I'm not going to the Caribbean.
She removes another wig to reveal her real hair.
What?
I'm going to Berlin.
Hold on. You're scamming Dad too. How many layers of scam are there?
I thought scam was a no-say word, John.
Look, I started working for your father 6 years ago. Nice man, but a little too open about his finances. I knew that if I got enough women to come forward about his behaviour, he would do anything to avoid paying them, including faking his own death and leaving everything to me.
You masterminded this whole thing, but you're a
Secretary, pornographic actress. You know, it was actually while I was working for your father that he taught me the most valuable lesson of all. In life, you're either a player or you get played. And your father, well, he just got played.
With that, June leaves, walking through the imaginary wall.
Hey, you forgot about the door! There's a door there!
No, you covered up the door thing.
The remaining characters stare at each other in disbelief. John slumps down on the shelf. There's a long silence.
So, we get nothing.
I truly don't know how you would go about correcting this. We'll have to report it, obviously.
I still can't believe he would do this to us.
I can. Have you met him?
Look, if I could ask, your mother or your father and June, they seemed like that they'd been planning this for a while. Your mother, did she never notice that anything was going on?
Oh, we've never met our mother. She walked out on us before we were born.